I don't know if maybe there's a contest going on between Republican senators who can appear to be the most disconnected from the modern world and how we talk about things in 2021. But if such a contest exists, I would nominate Republican Senator John Kennedy, no relation to the Democratic Kennedy family. In the last month, I brought you the story of Senator John Kennedy strangely trying to equate guns and cars, as well as kind of equating the regulation of guns and cars. You can check out that segment from the March 24th show if it sounds interesting, and it is actually pretty interesting. But yesterday, John Kennedy was on Fox News, ostensibly talking about, I guess, police shootings and police brutality. And he started talking about how we, quote, hire whites, blacks, and browns. It was as strange a segment as it sounds. Let's take a look.
There's no justice. We can't have a society without order. And we have decided to hire law enforcement officials to maintain order. We hire whites, blacks, browns, men, women to maintain order. Many of our law enforcement agencies are majority minority.
If you want to sound like a racist Southerner, like if you really want to play the prototypical caricature of a racist American right-wing Southerner, you say exactly what he said in exactly that accent, exactly how he talks about whites, blacks, and browns. That's how you make yourself look like the typical caricature of a Southern racist American. In another moment from the same appearance, Senator Kennedy, apparently in an effort to push back against the defund the police movement, which is supported by very few people, he says, if you don't like police, next time call a crackhead. That's his word, not mine.
I'll put it this way. If you hate cops just because they're cops, you don't know anything about them, then next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, what we're really talking about here, is the relationship between crime and race. Mm-hmm. Let's just cut to the chase. It is a statistical fact that just as it is the case that more men than women commit crimes, mm-hmm. just as it is a statistical fact that more younger people than older people commit crimes, we have racial minorities and ethnic groups in America that have higher crime rates. Mm-hmm. We have to, why? Mm-hmm. Poverty. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't tell you anything.
That is a sitting United States Senator, if you can believe it. This opens up the possibility of so many skits and satire on Saturday Night Live that they must be thanking the comedy gods right now. If you don't like police, call a crackhead next time you're in trouble. Why not just improve policing and then feel better about calling the police? Most people don't want to actually defund or abolish the police. Why do you need to go to what we have or crackheads? It's a very strange kind of backwards reverse rationalization. The choices are police we don't believe are as well trained as they should be, and drug addicts. Like, how are those the parameters that we should be selecting between? And by the way, when I was preparing this segment, I got a phone call and the clip kept playing without sound. If you want to see a really a scary movie, so to speak, watch Senator John Kennedy speaking without the audio on. It's really the stuff of nightmares, but that's an aside. Now, there's like 1% that John Kennedy gets correct here. Don't hate police for being police. Most police officers are people who are choosing to be police officers for admirable, good reasons, and who never have complaints against them about use of force. It would be bad. It would be a non-thinking reason to hate an individual officer because they are a police officer. At the same time, and this is where, it's almost like they can't hold two ideas simultaneously. At the same time, you can understand that all officers can be part of a system that is not productively serving a large portion of the people in their respective communities, and that there are changes there that need to be made. None of it involves crackheads. None of it involves drug addicts of any kind. Now, I know that the caricature is the left just wants to end police or defund the police or cancel police or whatever. There are some who want to do that. Most don't. We have the public polling data on it. What most people want is to reform and restructure the police. And I know that there are some on the left, including in my audience, who get mad and they say, reform has never worked. Why would it work now? Well, we've not actually done it. And there are police unions that get in the way of certain reform elements that are often recommended and suggested, including a national bad actors database, that police departments be mandated to both report to the bad actors database as well as to use it for reference when hiring a new police officer. I have multiple segments with 10 or 12 possible specific reforms. Most people just want to improve policing. There are situations where you don't need an armed officer to show up. There are situations that are better de-escalated by social workers and others. But we could also give police officers better training as social workers. That's another great idea. Better equip them for de-escalation. In many countries, police are much better trained for de-escalation. None of it requires crackheads, and none of it requires defunding or canceling the police.